Hi everyone, so for this first question, what we need to draw, y is greater than -4. We need to draw the line y is equal to -4. Now because it doesn't have the second line underneath, because it's not y is greater than or equal to -4, it can't be on the line, so you draw that line going through your y-axis as a dashed line. Just like that. And then we've got x is less than 2. Again, it's not, well, it can't be equal to 2. So we draw this again as a dashed line going through the x-axis at 2. Now, before I go any further, I want to think about the areas that these points are going to be in. So y is greater than -4. So that means y is going to be, if it's greater than -4, it's going to be in this section above that line. And then x is less than 2. Well, if it's less than 2, then it's got to be the left-hand side of this vertical line we've drawn. So I'm just doing some arrows to tell me which side it's on. So at the minute we're looking at this section. Now I've got to draw the line y is less than or equal to 2x plus 1. So I'm going to draw with a solid line this time, because it can be equal to, the line y equals 2x plus 1. Now there are different ways to do this. You can think about your y-intercept, so that's going to go through 1. We know it's going to go through there, and it's got a gradient of 2. So for each unit it goes along, it's going to go up 2. Also, what we can do is we can do a quick table for it. So if I do x, y, and then put 0, 1, 2, 3. If I substitute 0 into here, I'm going to get y is 1. If I substitute 1 in, 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. 2 times 2 plus 1, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 2 times 3 is 6, add 1 is 7. So you can see the coordinates of the points it's going to go through there. So it's going to go from here, 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 5, and so on. Now once you've got about 3 points on there, that should be enough for you to draw your straight line and get it accurate. Now remember, this is a solid line because it's got less than or equal to. And then again, we just need to work out which side of this line we're going. Y is less than or equal to 2x plus 1. The way to work out which side, or a good way to work out which side you're going for, is if I substitute in here 0, 0, is this inequality correct? 0, 0 being here, the origin. So y is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. So this side is 1, this side is 0. 1 is greater than or equal to 0, so that means this statement is true. So 0, 0 is in the section that I want. Okay, if this statement holds true for 0, 0, then that is in the area you want. If it doesn't, then it's not in the area you want, so then you want the other side. Okay, so we're looking at this side of our line. Now it says shade the region that satisfies all three of these inequalities, so I'm going to just shade that in. And they're not looking for perfect shading, they're just looking for you to identify the region. Okay, there we go. Okay, now to go through the question that you should have had a go at. So x is greater than or equal to 2. Because it's greater than or equal to, it's going to be a solid line, and it's going to go through the x-axis at 2. Make sure you use your ruler. Now again, think which side of the line this is going to be on. X is greater than or equal to 2, so we can have 3, 4, 5, and so on. So it's going to be to the right-hand side. Y is greater than 1. Okay, so it's going to go through our y-axis at 1. Now because it's not equal to, we're going to have a dashed line. Okay, if y is greater than 1, it's going to be all of these numbers, so it's going to be above the line. And then we've got x plus y is less than or equal to 6. Now there's different ways you can do this. So you can think about if x was 0, then we'd have y, replace this with replace the less than or equal to with equals, y is equal to 6. And if you had y was 0, then you would have x is equal to 6 if you replace this with an equals. And that's thinking about the line. We come to the inequality when we think about which side of the line we're looking at. So the other way to think about it is like we did previously with the table. So x, y, try some x coordinates, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and see what the y coordinate would need to be. If x is 0, y would need to be 6. If x was 1, y would need to be 5. If x was 2, y would need to be 4. X was 3, y would need to be 3. Okay, and then you can find those points, and you don't need to plot them with a cross like usually. Just put them with a dot so that they're not obvious when you're drawing your line, because there's no marks for getting the points correct. In this case, it's marks generally for plotting your lines correctly and identifying the right areas. Okay, so 0, 6 is going to be here. 1, 5 is going to be here. 2, 4, 3, 3. Okay, so we can see it's going down, and to be honest, that should make sense. If you were to rearrange this, you would get y is less than or equal to negative x plus 6, so you're going to have a negative gradient. And we should have it that it goes through our x-axis also at 6. Just trying to get that spot on there. There we go. Now again, just for this line, and you see I've done it as a solid line because it's less than or equal to. Just for this line, I'm going to think about, would 0, 0 satisfy this? And then if it does, then I know I'm looking for the lower side of the line. If it doesn't, I'm looking for the upper side of the line. 0 plus 0 is 0, and that is less than or equal to 6. So we are looking at this lower side of the line. Okay, draw straight lines and use shading to show the region R. Okay, it says use shading, it doesn't say to shade in this section. What I am going to do is I'm going to shade it in. It says use shading, and then I'm going to just do an arrow to show that's R. Okay, done.